Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the third series of Masterwork Dwarf Fortress. The first two series didn't go quite to plan, and if you look back on the videos you'll see why. It wasn't exciting in a fun way. It was bad. It was bad technically. So this is just an introduction really. This is Masterwork, the Masterwork mod, which adds tons of new things. New workshops, new reactions, new enemies. You can even play as orcs and kobolds if you want to. So it's an absolutely massive mod. I'd recommend you try it, and well, that's really the point of the video, so that you sort of learn with me. Okay, I'll cut here and I'll make a world. Okay, so now this is the world. I used the preset. There's lots of pre-gen worlds on Masterwork, so your computer doesn't have to go through the various algorithms to create it anyway, because the Masterwork doesn't really get along with those. So this is the Mandelbrot pre-gen world. It's new in Masterwork 4.A, B and C, 4 onwards anyway, and it has many volcanoes, many volcanoes, and a huge lake in the middle. So I've let it run to the year 72. We're now in the Age of Legends. Accept. Okay, so we're now on the world searchy screen. So I'm sure you all know what I'm going to do next. If you don't know what I'm going to do next, which is find a desired location, press an F. You shouldn't be watching these videos because Masterwork sort of just expands on vanilla as opposed to being a completely new game which you can learn whilst playing. You really need to get to grips with vanilla first. So if you don't know what all this is about, go check out Captain Duck, type in Captain Duck, but he's Dutch, so he talks like that. Go check out his videos. He's amazing at teaching just learn the basic game and then come back to this if you want. So I'll pick some parameters. We'll go for medium temperature, leave evil and savagery as they are. We want fluxstone, aquifers off, river yes, shallow metal yes, and we want all of those if possible. I'll search. I have an idea. I'll do these off camera so you don't have to watch, but I will manually go to every volcano, because if we have a volcano, it unlocks many new possibilities. Okay, so I have now found a place. It's in the russet jungle. It's a temperate conifer forest. Not that I mean, that stuff doesn't really matter in the top right. You can read it for yourself if you want. Just pause it. We've actually got very lucky. We have two rivers. Well, I suppose it's one, isn't it? Splitting up into tributaries, but we have a river. Then we have a volcano, the Rage of Truths. We have clay / dirt / peat, whichever is absolutely fine. We have very deep soil. We have shallow metals, and we have deep metals. And heavily forested. It's actually a really good starting area. So the elevation is quite it's quite steep, but there is some flat there, which is where the river is, and hopefully around the river there'll be some sort of plains. So I think we should change our civilization, or should we? I don't know. Which is closer? Okay, we'll leave it as the parched mines. They're a lot closer, and well, there's more of them. Okay, so we'll embark. That's fine though. Now, I'm gonna use an empty template, completely empty template, and we have two guild member starter dwarf people. So we have a legion recruit and we have a fisher's guild peasant. And in Masterwork there are things called castes. And if a dwarf is a fisherman's guild member, he's in the fisherman's caste or whatever. I'm not sure how you'd phrase it, but he's in the fisherman's guild. So any fishing skills he gets, his skill goes up faster in that. And I think his skill gain in every single other skill is reduced to a half. So everything else goes at half pace, and just fishing goes at twice the normal speed. And on Masterwork, on the settings page, which you'll see if you download it, which I'm sure you'll have, there's a setting which you can toggle on and off called harder learning. And if you toggle that on, which I have done, because I think it adds a bit more challenge, then it means that the guild system becomes a lot more needed. And it means that the only way a dwarf is going to learn a skill as fast as in vanilla Dwarf Fortress is if he's a member of the guild. So it really makes you use that game feature, that's all. Now the Legion recruit, I think, uses swords. I think his sword skills go up a lot faster, or whatever. So I'll check that out just when I cut it out now while I'm setting up the Embark profile with skills and items and whatever. But I'll be back in a second with a fully set up Embark. Now I've set it all up, everything's done, so you don't have to watch any boring messing around with things. I brought along. I was sort of going for a minimalist start where you have to sort of do everything yourself. So I'll be I'll be making a wooden training axe to start off with out of the wagon. That's how sort of survivalist it is, and then obviously from there you build up. But I did want to bring an anvil just in case the first, I know it's a small chance, but in case the first 10 caravans don't have an anvil, then you would just be completely screwed without it, right? So I brought along an anvil, 2 steel oak acorns, because I really want to, I want to get that sort of, whatever that entails going, because I've never done it before, never taken those along, and I brought along a sword, just so our Legion recruit can keep us safe, because he is a proficient swordsman. He is the Valerius Super. That's his nickname, because that was a Redditor who asked to be named on the series, and he wanted to be a swordsman. So your wish is granted, my friend. We also have the White Milker, which is another name request, and I've put 2 points into him making cheese and milk, and this is actually really useful because he will be milking the. Okay, I'll show you over here. In the middle, if you can see, I brought along six of each gender of Jew beetles, and these are really interesting because they're an animal, and then you milk them, but instead of just getting a sort of food stuff from the as a product of milking it, you get sort of a honey-like substance, which you can then turn into mead, that's gonna sort of be my alcohol source for the first few years, maybe even forever, I don't know. And then also with the milking as well, you can, these really intrigue me as well, booze belly goats. So you milk these, and then you turn the milk, I think you turn the milk into a cheese, and then this cheese is alcoholic, which again sounds very strange, but is very useful when you think about it. So that's why I brought along a milker. The Azob Uzol Tolun is a fish cleaner, and there's nothing special about that, just a fish, and that he complements the Fisher's Guild peasant, who is a proficient fisherman. I put a lot of points into that just so we can get everything sort of started up, and it makes sense that if he's a member of the Fisherman's Guild before he even gets to my fortress, that he's pretty damn good at what he does. This dwarf Lola Agothiteb is going to be my expedition leader, and I've only put points into Judge of Intent, Organizer, Conversationalist, and Pacifier, just so that she gets tagged as the expedition leader to start off with. She or he, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember. Rigoth is our lumberjack, and then our carpenter is Zoti. I think I'll just call them by their first names, it's a lot easier. So we have a carpenter and a lumberjack as well. So we've gone for a pretty basic array of skills, basic range, and then what a lot of the points have gone into really is the booze belly goats. Of course, I've got 8 of those, will cost him 41 Embark points each. 6 scarecrows, which are really interesting because you use these as sort of sentry towers, and you pasture them, and then they move, which is very strange, but they do move, and so you can sort of stake out areas around your fortress to see snatchers and fortress invaders before they get close. So it's just like a mobile sentry turret, really. I brought along a drake of each gender. They're really actually expensive, but they are brilliant for guarding. So I'll just put one either side of my entrance. I don't know. 8 cavern keats, just because they're bearded, which is a strange concept, isn't it? But they're bearded birds, so you can shave them for wool or yarn, and then that's worth 3 times the normal amount, I think. That could be mountain goats, I'm not sure, but they're a bird, and you get eggs, and you get wool from them. So that's why I brought them along. You've seen the dew beetles. Oh, the last animal that I brought along is mole weasels. Mole weasels. I've got 6, and these are going to be the pest control, the vermin eradicators, if you will. So I've got 6. They move at twice the speed of normal animals, and so they cover a lot more ground, thus exterminating more vermin. So I'll just sort of pasture them in my food store, keep them there. And I think they have an amazingly short breeding time. So if we ever get short of food, we can send them to a farm in the country, if you know what I mean. Right, let's get started. So I've named the fortress the Humble Roots because it's humble. It's humble, isn't it? The items that I brought along are, I mean, there's no worldly, exceedingly valuable things there. So I've named the group the Unholy. Well, I didn't name it actually. It was a random choice. The Unholiness of Autumns, which sounds it's quite foreboding, really, isn't it? So it'd be quite nice if I got some fun in an autumn sometime. That'd be quite nice. Right, let's get started, I think. Okay, you have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, to delve, secure lodgings, ere the drakes get hungry. I always like reading that bit, just it's randomised, so it changes every time. A new chapter of Dwarven history begins here at this place. Viro de, the Humble Roots. Strike the earth. So we shall. Okay, I'm gonna... this might not be very popular, but I'm gonna end it there, because, I mean, that's a long enough video for a start. And that's sort of just giving you a flavour for the Embark choices that you get from Masterwork, and what my preferences are. So I suppose I can show you the map, can't I? So in the top left we have the river, an arc of a river, loads and loads of trees. On this we have another river in the bottom left hand corner, which is actually really nice, so I'm sure we'll do something with both of them. It then, on the right hand side, it's a mountain with a volcano in. Actually, I'll put the map back up. With a volcano in, which is so useful. It just means you don't have to turn wood into charcoal, and you don't have to find bituminous coal, and it just cancels out so many difficulties. So it then rises really quite steeply until, well, for a very, very long time. The volcano finishes off there at level 122. That's high enough. We're never going to go higher than that. We'll probably build on the ground floor, because that's where the plains are. So, we'll have, well, I don't quite know yet, but I'd like to have sort of a quarter of the fortress above ground, as a sort of I don't know, like a citadel type sort of structure. I don't quite know. I'll see if I can work it out, and I'll show you as we play, obviously. So I do have some plans for the fortress, and of course I'll check out this screen quite a bit more to think about what I'm going to do. Try and make it very, very badass, because it's always nice. And I'll show you as we go along the Stone Sense visualizer, so you can get an idea of what it looks like in 3D. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, if you liked it, of course. Don't just arbitrarily like things, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in a bit.